what we covered in the previous lesson, which is about function declaration and functions, writing functions, user-defined functions. Here's a question from an exam paper. It says, Jonty will use functions in his programming code rather. Describe the difference between declaring a function and calling a function. Okay, so think about what we said in the previous lesson. Perhaps you might want to go back to it. There's 4 marks at play here, so you should be able to give at least 2 points for each one. So what is the difference between declaring a function and calling a function? Yeah, so take your time, think about how you might be able to answer that question. I would review the answer just now because, again, so for time purposes. So, declaring a function creates the code, yeah, or defines what it will do. Yeah, that will be 1 mark, very straightforward. And then declaring also gives it a name or an identifier. So remember, we say def in Python, for example, my function, okay, or def area, or def, I don't know, whatever function we want to be able to say. So whatever it is, we use the keyword definition and then we give our function name. So that shows that it's the function. We have to have a name when we're defining it. Also, we give the open and close bracket at the end of the function name, which shows that we are saying that the function can have some parameters, or it might have no parameters, but we still have to have the open and close bracket at the end of it. And then when we call the function, again, it seems very obvious, but that was when we execute the code within that block. Okay, so calling the function is actually executing it or running the code, and then a function always returns a value. Okay, so a function could return a value. All right. So a function, actually, let's be absolutely clear about that. A function does not always have to return a value, but a function may return a value. Okay, so you might have a function that does something and returns a value to the program itself. It might never be outputted, but the key thing is a function may possibly return a value. And then the last point on here that they've said here is a function is declared once, but it can be called multiple times. Remember, one of the basic reasons why we would use a function is so that we don't need to keep rewriting our code. So we want to be able to call that function over and over again. So imagine you're playing a game and you're using a button, and the button is to move the player so many steps forward. When you press that button, it just calls that function to move the player. Imagine you had to rewrite that code every single time. That would be very, very long. So whereas we could just call the function each time and it could just keep running for us, yeah? So that just executes that same block of code. All right, so hopefully that's clear. You've got some examples there of additional information about functions.